And we are live. Alright. No, I never adjust my seat before I start talking. I always have to do it on camera because clearly that's the better way of going about it. Sup, Cyborg? Hello, Lexi S. Hart. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to being live. I know, I'm alive. I can't believe it. I am finally not unalive. How is everyone doing? Also, I'm getting hot again all of a sudden. Ugh.
Water.
Oh, here we go.
Water.
It's starting it already.
Water.
What's up, Samurai?
Water.
You guys are trying to waterboard me early. Just finished all my D&D prep, so I'm just waiting till Wednesday now. Fair enough. Even got a special playlist set for it. Ooh! Custom music. That's always a great way of bringing a D&D campaign together. Some custom music. It really sets the stage. So, welcome to the stream, Lexi. It's basically a tabletop where I slowly lose my mind painting this massive White Scars commission. Also on Tuesdays we do digital art, and every random now and again I do a gaming stream. Kind of just whenever I feel like it. Doing good, trying to get some inspiration before I start painting today. Ooh, what you got on the chopping block? What you painting? What gray are you slaying? Music is very important for the games. I mean, you played in one of my games before, and I was constantly adjusting music for everything. Yes, and it really helped with the roleplay, I thought. I find it a lot easier as a non-actual actor. I know, you can't even believe it, I'm not an actor. So charismatic, I know. But I find it so much easier to get into the swing of role-playing with proper music going. Yeah, same. I can't play D&D without it, yeah. It also helped the, I thought the people you had in there were pretty good for bouncing roleplay off, for the most part. Fairly decent. A few rare occasions I played in games and they couldn't get their music to work. I had to pull some like YouTube 10-hour D&D eventualists. Yeah, fair enough. Assault Intercessors and a Primaris Lieutenant. Nice. Which kind of lieutenant? Just out of curiosity, you know, I have the like 27 different Primaris Lieutenants. Also, what chapter? Me, I actually play Raven Guard. This is a commission that I am painting right now. I can actually grab a I can grab a White Scars Assault Intercessor here. Panned 18 of these. I nearly died in the process. Just my soul getting sucked right out of me. But they are done. I can get you up. This is my Raven Guard, Primaris Lieutenant. It's just a standard one with a Mastercrafted Stalker bolt rifle. Which this guy's actually fairly old at this point. Like, he's got my old version of white armor, not the one I use now. But it's decent. Making my own with bright colors. Nice. It's one from the Recruit Edition. So that's the shield one. What's hilarious is I have 3 of those. I have not touched any of them. Yeah, the story is how I ended up with 3 of them. Which is also, like, somewhat annoying that the actual Daslate... I find this annoying, anyway. The actual Daslate form is just Primaris Lieutenant, and then you equip him with the Sword and Board. Sword and Board and Volkite. I'm like, okay, you have all these other, like, extraneous data sheets. Like the Reaver Lieutenant. We did not need another data sheet for that, actually. I didn't think. But you keep that being the same as the dude with the just sword and pistol or rifle. I don't know. W makes some weird decisions when it comes to organizing their codex. Doing what I can with what I got. Oh yeah, absolutely. Are you new to the game? And do you have a name for this chapter? Dude, I'm such a lore junkie, like, even fandom lore. It's like, oh, fictional knowledge. Gimme, 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 gimme. It's completely useless and extraneous, but... New 4K, play a lot of other tabletop games? Well, welcome to the hobby. Dr. Quaz... Doc... Nope. I remember this. You got that? Yeah, Das. Right. You were in Snow's chats? I know we have Chad before. I'm just trying to remember which streamer. That and Ruckus. Ah. Yeah, no, I was like, oh, wait, I know this one. I know this person. The man myth, the god of white paint. Yeah. Yeah, this was a divinity thrust upon me. I did not seek out this specific brand of immortality. I suppose I can't complain because I can still use this on my own Raven Guard. It does look good. I don't try to dance it very long. I'm just bad at it. Thank you for the sub. Amazing. I believe that does bring us to one founder badge remaining. So get while you can. Thank you for that sub. Enjoy the sound alerts and emotes. Because Twitch still does not allow me to give emotes to followers. Wait a minute, I get a plank badge? You get a table leg badge. Which probably won't show because the founder badge overwrites it for some reason. Which is annoying. It's like, I didn't draw that for nothing. I mean, you can have multiple stacked badges already. Why can't you have that as well? Dumb. But anyway, I don't write the rules. Twitch does, unfortunately. Which is doubly frustrating for me as a web dev, because I could probably fix that if I had access to the coding. If I had to guess, it's just CSS, which is something I do all the time. But anyway. How are you doing tonight? And are you hobbying? I'm paying an old soda pop miniature Princess Amelia and Tom, and you, sir, are the man for white. I take it that there's white involved in those minis. I know nothing about them, but carry on. You will learn how to paint my brand of white in this specific stream if you hang around long enough. So that's something. Huge amount of whites. Okay, fair enough. Well, for one, let me catch up to what has already been done. I started with an airbrush, priming these with Steno Res white primer, and then a base coat, still with airbrush, of Army Painter Matte White. The Ruckus Whips, I dropped what I am doing. I mean, we can get you into our Discord, because we have a Discord. And what I'm doing right now is just cleaning up a lot of the mix-ups for or mess ups for before I start shading, because shading over white and it's not actually white is kind of a problem. Alright, looking at the Discord, where are you? So I'm getting pinged in there. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's just a guy saying thanks. Never mind. But yeah, you know what? I will go get a reference. Ruckus Whips. So you trying to paint that purple thing? You slow fuse and bit. It's. Where's the mini I'm looking for here? Oh, there it is. I found it. White in pink, I think. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll make that thing looking sharp. Yeah, I think I found the thing with the spines and stuff. As just AV primer white. Well, you got the first step down where it's primed white. I added base coat on it just to seal it all in and make sure it's actually properly opaque. So I make another pass with Army Painter matte white, and that's what I'm using now to clean this up. Because this is all gonna get shade. Gonna be throwing shade on here soon enough. Oh yeah, to explain the plank, you are now a leg of the table as you support the table that everyone else is seated at. And in this strange analogy, I am the table, I guess. Or I'm the tabletop. Either or. I mean, that's usually what people call me. Alright, I think that's good enough. I think that's good over there. This could be cleaned up a little bit. It's a very heavy IKEA theme going on here. Maybe one day I'll guess an emote of meatballs. I have game colors, ivory and regular white, also AV air white, along with pro white from Monument Paints, navy model color whites, ivory and white. Also, Lexi, you laugh. Some of this is just past trauma, as I used to run a home goods furniture department. And some part of my soul never left. No. Yeah, I used to build furniture like all day. Build/move furniture all day. You crazy man. Yeah. Hey, when you're 18, you need money. And your cousin works there. Not in furniture, though. You just kind of got dropped there. Also, I dropped a work in progress of my Space Marines from when I was working on them last night. Oh, let's go take a look. And for reference, those things that are dropped in my Discord generally get put up on stream. So let's go take a... Ooh. And I put it in the wrong Chrome. I want the other Chrome so I can see my chat.
Water.
Let's continue with the waterboarding.
Water. Water.
Yes, I heard you the first time. Let's get all these picks here. Oh, it's only 2. Okay. There we go. And then... Is my wind cap working correctly? Nope. Right, because that tab is closed. That makes sense. There we go. Haha. Alright. Get my chat back in front of me. Yeah, it would be you, Former. Former's goal in life is to drown me, for reference. This is looking cool. I like this color scheme. You weren't kidding about bright colors. Are you using... What are you using here for paints? Are you using contrasts, or is this standard paints? In which case, I would recommend a couple more passes with, particularly the purple and the blue, until they get properly opaque. Unless you're going for that interesting, like, shimmer, that faux shimmer look. Discourse being weird, I joined it. Oh, I don't know. Hold on, let me go look. Q. I don't see you. I can manually put another link into the... Man, I wish Venom was here. But perfect time for Venom to be here. Where's my mod when I need him? Where's an invite link? I'm trying to remember where the button is. Invite people. There we go. Expire never. Join new link. Copy. It's clearly a light camo. There we go. Also, that's an example of the tier 3 2-month badge there. It goes up in planks per or legs. Now you got me saying planks, man. It goes up in legs as you go up in months. Alright. Contrast. Purple is thinned because it was so dark, straight up looked almost black, and only super bright light would even show purple. Army speed paints to be exact. So what it looks like, if I had to guess, is that this is over black primer. Generally, speed paints or contrast you want to be putting over white primer, because then the color will really show through. Unless you're doing specific things, you know, like you know what you're doing. Slap chop. Okay, I'm only vaguely familiar with the slap chop technique, to be honest. So that kind of came into being a thing after I started on this ginormous White Scars commission. So I've basically only been painting heavy metal style for the last, you don't want to know how long. Plank owner is Navy term for ship's first crew. Ah, just slinging paint is my first turn. It's my first try. I mean, that's fair. I would say I need to go relearn what slap chop means so I can give better advice. Because what I do is more like this. This is the most recent thing I finished. Which, this is under heavy metal style. Or if you want to see something of my own work, very specifically my own work, we'll do... Should we do the tank or the land speeder? Let's do the land speeder. My brand of Raven Guard in particular are very, angry. Very angry, Raven Guard. They are here for your skull. And everyone else's. Particularly if they think you're a traitor, they'll even carve it into your skull to show that, screw this guy in particular. Also, I magnetize everything. Whenever I finish this commission and get back to painting my own stuff, prepare for a lot of magnetization. You want to learn how to magnetize something? I'll figure it out. Skulls for the Golden Throne? Absolutely. Ninja's great theme on it for YouTube's. I like Ninjon. I watch his stuff. I think I actually did watch his video on Slap Chop. It was just like 2.5 weeks ago. Normally I do Zenithal Prime. Totally fair. I've been meaning to try something with Zenithal Prime. I was doing a lot of heavy metal stuff, before, and then I got this commission, which is very specifically an heavy metal scheme. This is based 90% of this system of white that I'm doing is based on heavy metal, like an actual heavy metal white armor recipe. So that happened. When I get out of this purgatory, then, which I'm hoping is around Christmas, but I'm starting to have my doubts considering that it is now halfway through November, and I still have, after this guy, 3 Outriders, a Blade Guard Ancient, Apothecary on Bike, and a Kasara Khan, who is a named White Scars character. Probably not finishing by New Year. Oh, thank you. I kind of make it... Alright, I can give you 2 real easy tips for dramatically increasing your brush control. First off is how you hold the brush. What you want to do is you want to take your elbows, plant them about shoulder width apart on the... one at a time, you're fine. It's alright. Plant your shoulders about shoulder length apart on your desk or table, or what have you. Plant your wrists together like this, so you make a triangle. You can really push them together and stay yourself as you need to. Choke up, as you need to. The point is have something touching the other hand. So like this, for example. And then you use your fingers and not your wrist and your arm to actually paint. And that gives you a lot of control. Also, use extremely small brushes. This is a size 0 sable from Monument Hobbies. Aim small, miss small, as that terrible movie called The Patriot says. It's more like hit small, miss small. Alright, moving on to actually continuing the white paint forward, not just cleanup. Our first step for shading is going to be using Contrast Apothecary White, because remember it's an heavy metal style, so of course everything's Citadel. And we're not going to be using as a contrast, we're going to be using as a broad recess shader, which means we use in all the recesses, but I am going to purposefully push down the brush a little bit to kind of widen it out a little bit, because we're going to be making a gradient, basically, by the time we're done. I'm going to start here because it's easy to show what I mean. So I'm pushing down the brush, so it's about the size of a size 1, but I still have the control going into it of a size 0. My hands are not shaking at all, like always. Yeah, it's because they're anchored. It's architecture, actually. Triangles are the strongest shape. Finally finished the outline for my logo. Nice, Samurai! You gonna put that in the Discord so we can see it? For those who don't know, Samurai's beginning his journey in streaming. Started, what, like 2 weeks ago, I think? Sir, you are a genius. Actually, I didn't develop that. I learned that from someone else. I can't remember who. I think it was a YouTuber? I think it was Miniac talking about doing freehand. I think. And a honeycomb is a cluster of triangles. It is, because a honeycomb is a bunch of octagons, and octagons are a bunch of triangles. Which is why we use honeycombs for a bunch of stuff as well, in architecture and in engineering and whatnot. Since an art chat, let's take a look. Let me make sure it opens up in the right Chrome here. It's a fairly decent amount. Oh, you're using the same app as me. Nice. I see you took the advice to get that app. There we go. That's pretty good. This app, by the way, is Infinite Painter, and it's amazing. I use it for my digital art streams. Oh, thank you for the follow, Lexi. This is a cool outline. I use it for my digital art streams on Tuesdays. So if you're around tomorrow, come and hang out while I paint some more devil abs and probably nipples with piercings. Does Hey TT drown? I mean, you haven't hit the alert yet, so no. Ah, there it is.
Water.
The eyes will be the death. I mean, that's usually how it goes.
Water.
Hey, Former, you only got so many points. I think I will survive. Although the lot of you nearly got me last stream. Oh, you know it's fine, because every time I go take a restroom break, I play another ad, so really I'm just getting paid more. Not a lot, but... Oh, you going to bed? Fair enough. It's 2:30 a.m.? Yeah, I know that life. I still live it. Well, have a good night. I will catch you later, my man. Joke's on you, I don't see your ads. Oh, yeah, but the ad plays for everyone. So... You are equally torturing other people and getting me paid. I did not realize that this little back bit needed a bunch of cleanup. Let's do that real quick. For the newcomers, Former is our resident evil wizard. If this channel has a BBEG, it is definitely Former. Pretty sure his alignment is neutral evil. Oh, just because you're a troll. I'm totally fine with it, but you are a troll. You have no ill intention. No, you're a troll. If you had actual ill intention, you wouldn't still be here. But you're easily the biggest troll here. Which I'm fine with, because we need a little spice in life. I'm totally lawful neutral. Okay, well, as chaotic good, that's as good as neutral evil to me. There's this whole philosophical conversation about the alignment chart and how the opposite of chaotic good is not lawful evil because they can respect lawful evil. It's lawful neutral because they respect the law regardless of what the law says, and chaotic good cannot adhere to that. Oh, question: if I were to play other games, there are places to show work in progress shot for them on your Discord. I mainly do one-page fantasy rules stuff before I go to 4K. Good question. I guess general art right now, though I can make a channel for miscellaneous mini art. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Give me a second. I will make a new channel. Misc Mini... I guess I'll make two. I'll make a Misc Mini Whip and a Misc Mini Finished. I will just pop these under general Misc Mini Finished. Create channel. Oh, nope. Put that below. Alright, there we go. Okay, you have appropriate channels now. Go at it. I think my true enemy of chaotic good is chaotic evil. Everyone is enemy of chaotic evil. I prefer Magic the Gathering Color Pie over D&D Alignment. I mean, that's totally fair. I'm not saying the D&D Alignment's actually a good system. I'm just using it for the joke. But there is actually... Well, here's the thing. Chaotic Good, like, respects people with codes. Chaotic Evil just wants to create evil and go against law. And going against law is still something that Chaotic Good can respect. Lawful Neutral just straight up is... There's no code except the law, but the law is completely arbitrary and evolving. Because it is, generally speaking, unless you're talking about a divinely introduced law, everything else is just arbitrary thought up by mortals based on what they felt like that day. So, screw that. I am divine now. You know what? Touche. However, you should know that I am an atheist. You could be a divine. I wouldn't believe in you anyway. I should also reference that this stream is a completely open conversation, freedom of speech stream. I will let you say just about anything that is not straight up, like, violent against someone else specifically. Everything else is basically on the table. We'll talk about it. I will take on deep dark topics if you people want them. I've totally gone on political tirades before. When the room is appropriate for it, there is a little bit of nuance there. You know your basic social interaction laws here. Everyone wants to have a good time, but I'm not gonna silence people. I'm a witch, so you could be, but you're not one of mine. So no, screw that one guy in particular. Depends on which one guy you're talking about. I mean, I generally... Here's my thing. Depending on my mood, I can be atheist or anti-theist. In fact, a lot of my fantasy characters in games that have divines end up going by God Hunter, which is something I kind of picked up from the Dark Souls series, where my Elden Ring... I kept trying to say Elder Scrolls. Elden Ring character was literally named God Hunter, and his whole purpose was just hunting down gods just to slay them, just so they're out of the way, so mortals could ascend. I will now wait until the ad says it's done, so I can properly talk to everyone. I like this. In Theros D&D, you can play a character who doesn't worship gods as they're not worthy of faith. That is exactly the thinking of my wizard, Viso. That is his entire thing. He's like, hey, you know what? The gods, they suck. Screw that. Superstition, dumb. Faith, dumb. Let's go hunt some gods. Ooh. Let's get these ready for when the ad is done in a second here. Let's hope he doesn't live in Furin. Well, he's not currently in the world that has Furin, so faithless people have really bad afterlife there. Well, currently he doesn't. That's not an issue. Alright, so I will go back to the D&D stuff in a second, but we've got some of Lexi's orcs here, which are looking quite cool. So from, what's it called again? One-page rules. I'm liking this. I like this little bit of blue going on the mouth. This dry brush. At least I think that's dry brush. Well, then actually no, probably not dry brush, but whatever this is going on here, the highlighting here. Bones are good. I like you shading the green over here. Yeah, this is pretty good. If this is supposed to be smoke, I'm liking it. If it's supposed to be a bit more ethereal, I wouldn't mind a little bit of dry brushing around it to give the glow effect. But that's something that I can help with if that was your intention. That's a technique I can easily teach. The fur looks good. Yeah, this is cool. It's admittedly basic but functional. And this is just a general thing in my streams and across the board. I'm always trying to help people improve their painting. So I'm not very shy about being like, okay, so this here could be better, and here's how you can do that, and I use dry brush. Fair enough. It does look good. It was a good color pick. I'm trying to always help people improve their painting is the idea. I want people to make cooler stuff. That was one of my biggest motivations when I started, was how do I make cooler stuff? Rank and file troops so functional is the goal. You're totally fair. I'm one of those insane maniacs where standard intercessor. Why did I go this far? And this is part of a squad of 10 at this level. It took me 2 months because I'm nuts. Because I can't help myself. I have to always be trying new stuff, trying to get better, trying to do more insane nonsense. Here's the sergeant, which this is magnetized, by the way. The whole arm is. Which, by the way, people would say black's one of the hardest colors to paint. I don't think it is. It really isn't. This is just Eshin Gray and Dawnstone. Like Eshin Gray highlight, Dawnstone edge highlight. Well, I've been painting for about a year, so I'm trying to get my reps in. Yeah, no, I mean, you're doing good. I've been painting for 5 years, painting professionally for 2. Oh, there was like a big thing of fuzz on that base. Ignore that. I'm probably nearing my 100th model, I think. Yeah, I'm coming close to 100 models. White and yellow are definitely the hardest, but most people try to put black up there, and I'm like, I don't think black's that hard. I mean, I could be biased because I've painted, like, literally nearly 70 models in black. So, I mean, you know. But you'd think after 5 years it'd be more than 70. You just saw my troops, so, I mean, no. I spend way too much time. I had one person jokingly call me on a Discord that, you know, how dare I put more detail into my basic rank and file than their characters. They can't even believe it. There's a lot of fake salt in that one. I was very amused. Oh, when I get a vehicle, I mean, you saw the land speeder. You should see my Venator. And I still gotta finish my Storm Raven at some point. Jeez. That's a big reason why I can't wait until the White Scars are done, because I've had like no motivation to paint my Raven Guard, because I just spend so much energy on these. It wasn't too bad before, but once I started streaming wipes you out. Streaming's exhausting. But hey, it allows me to double dip on income and make it easier to get new commissions, so I can't complain. I just want to pay more of my Raven Guard. I want to go back to converting random nonsense, but I need energy. Converting's hard. I have so many ideas. I have a lot of ideas. They all take like a month to execute, minimum. Money is good and doing what you love, making it is even better. Yeah, that's the idea. Which is why I appreciate you subbing so much, Fizzle. Yeah, I'm gonna call you Fizzle. Why? I don't know, because I felt like it. Ideas I got. Time and skill are the hard parts. Yeah. Well, I'm here to try to help you with the skill part. Time's on you. This is also why I put. I was very literal when I said question everything in the chat rules. You see something I'm doing, question it. You got a question about your stuff, question me. Also, if you think you got something to figure... White Scars, Blade Guard, Sergeant. Mr. Hobby Haven RI. Who let Fizzle in here? Well, you weren't here to hold the gate, Venom. I don't want to hear any complaints. I had to do all kinds of modding before, man. I was posting links. I was I've chronic backhand anxiety, so that makes me super shaky. Well, that's why this is so good. Because the more you push your arms against each other, the more that should combat the shakiness. I mean, I get you. I used to have a lot of anxiety issues too, actually. But I still need hair. I got plenty. I actually have no idea what his hair situation is, so, you know, you got me on that one. Listen, my mods are allowed a private life. In theory. This is wild for soon to be 59 next Monday. Is Venom's birthday next Monday? Venom, is your birthday next Monday? Oh, you're saying you're... Okay, I misunderstood the context. You're going to be 59 next Monday. Well, happy birthday. I should figure out a... I should put like a birthday discount code. No, I don't know how to control that. Oof, you win, Fizzle. I do still need hair. Only 268 more days till mine. Wow, he tracks it by the day. Birthday's important to him, huh? I treat my birthday like it was a federal holiday and then it's some. Or I try to anyway. This last birthday I spent it working because I really need money. Really big contract, and the client was holding out on me. Like, listen, I will finish this bid, but I need that next paycheck on the pronto. Ruckus and I can put our hair together and make you one wild get up. I mean, Ruckus has got some nice hair, to be fair. That is a lucky man. I'm only 28 and I've already got like Vegeta Widow's Peak going on. Fortunately, I don't have the spikiness of it, so I can't pull a proper Vegeta. So I go for length in the back. So I make up for it. Try to skip every birthday I can. I want to be young again. The way I see it, I just have to survive until we unlock immortality. And then I can work backwards from there. I don't think we're actually that far. Because we really only need one of two criteria, and that is to reach pushing back the expected age by more than a year within a year, or we have a massive jump of adding another decade or two, and then our incredible technological jumps lately will catch up by the time I reach that. With that extra boost. Nah, only age to become grumpy and enjoy the fun looks. I used to be grumpy. There was a joke for like since I was like 16 that I was already an old man because I was just grouchy. Not even like normal teenager grouchy. I was like old man grouchy. I'm not that anymore, and I don't really want to be that anymore. Which probably means I need to drink more. I need to be able to afford more drinks. You guys need to send me more money so I can get more drinks and not be grumpy. That's my logic on that. Now, if I do anything, I'll become the sweet old grandma. Stop being grumpy a long time ago. Too much wasted energy. Yeah, I don't got the extra time to be grumpy now. Too busy. I'm too busy to be grumpy. I got stuff to do. This is one of 2 businesses I run by myself. Think I got time to be grumpy? I don't even got time to be happy. I got time for emotions. I have 2 modes. I have tired and asleep. Ain't got time to bleed. Yeah, pretty much. What I really gotta do is just, beat the waiting game of waiting for this, Forex auto trader bot to catch up with my monthly bills, and then things get a whole lot easier. Unfortunately, I just finally started doing things as expected today, so I got a little ways to wait yet. At 37, I'm already getting angry when the high schoolers rev their engines down the street. I feel like I'm 80 sometimes. Yeah, you can't do that. You gotta lean into it as if you were still a teenager. Like, yeah, party! And then go back to being quiet and tired. Like that is my entire contribution to the group energy. I replace tired with just not feeling it. I am sometimes surprised when I don't feel tired. Like, I'm like, wait a second, I don't feel tired right now. What? What did I do differently? And then I'm just spending all my time not tired, trying to figure out how I'm not tired so I can replicate it. And then I run out of energy and then I'm tired again. We are almost done with this part, by the way. Getting pretty close. Also, I just realized we can zoom in a fair bit more here. Haha, well, I work to keep mobile, otherwise I'd be wrecked. That's totally fair. Hey man, long time no see. It has been a while, Tone. How are you doing? How was your vacation? And where did you go? I assume you went somewhere, considering that you said you were on vacation for several weeks with the fam. I know it's gonna be really hard to see any of this, but just in case you get a side view, some side chest, tasteful side chest. Make sure it's all painted correctly, which I need more. It's not getting enough on the brush. When I say that, you're probably not going to be able to see this part because it's going to be under the tilting plate. Or tilt plate? I keep forgetting which. Oh right, under the thigh auxiliary plate? I don't know. After a while, I start making up names for these pieces just so I can keep track of them. Oh yeah, actually this whole region isn't quite done. Doing good back home now, which is always nice. You went around Australia to a few places, a few different states. That's a nice walkabout. Yeah. Very cool. Man, it's such a large chunk of a single piece. Painting sub-assembly is a little while, and then you start really appreciating when they're small bits. You can get through stuff very quickly. And you run into stuff like this, and you're just like, wow, I feel like I'm just doing one paint for like absolutely forever. Then you remember why this is why you do sub-assemblies and not full models, if you can help it. You're back gonna get my paint stuff together? Yeah! I mean, I'll be here for quite a while. I can't speak for everyone else. Quick, everyone else, scatter! Alright. I am tempted. Oh, I don't think I have dice set up. If that's the thing I have to set up, I don't have dice set up. Sorry if it's so... I'm tempted to wait till Alexa comes back to explain the next part, because the next part's a little complex. I mean, especially for a new painter. Someone that should definitely know by now. Hey, Venom, what's the next step? Is she following along with you? I mean, I know she's a new painter. May as well teach her stuff, like how to make mixes. Because this is what this is gonna next bit's gonna be. My take on getting better as a painter is you're best off spending your time trying to improve by focusing on new techniques. Because you're going to be painting regardless, so you're going to get the better brush handling and all that stuff in eventually anyway, just by doing the activity. Having more tools in your toolbox, however, adding tools to and paint on the model, right, you're going to get paint on the model and you're going to be doing all that stuff anyway. Having more tools in your toolbox as to how to approach how to paint, that's valuable. I will prep it though. I took a long hiatus from the hobby. Yeah? I'm thinking of taking a short sabbatical when this commission's done. Way too long. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I am from the gaming aspect, just because I can't get a game in very often. 15 years or so? Wow, that's 3 times as long as I've been in the hobby. Well, okay, technically I've been reading lore for 10 years, so... You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have this ready on the side, and I'll just pick it back up when they get back. I had to deal with some pain demons and was not in the mood. I mean, that's fair. So I started reading lore 10 years ago. It's mostly through the wiki. I am back just as we're starting next thing. Alright, let me stop this real quick. Nope, it's being weird. Whatever, it'll come out in the wash. Okay. Our next step. This is a mix. This is a 2-1-1 mix. What that means is that this is 2 parts Apothecary White Contrast, 1 part Black Templar Contrast. Ignore my camera, putting stuff on screen. And 1 part, where is it? Lamine Medium. I put these 3 together, measured by the milliliter, into a dropper bottle because I knew I'd be using a crap load of it. So now it's just all in here. I shake it up, pop some on the palette, which I already have. And then this I use as a narrow or a deep recess, a narrow or deep recess shader. This is to create the deep shadows, because here's the thing about white, and here's some shadow theory for you for painting 3-dimensional objects. In theory, right, this Primaris Space Marine is about 8 feet tall, on average. Could add a little bit for the Iron Halo, right? So, like, realistically, probably 10 feet tall if you include the Iron Halo. So, objects have shadows, and larger objects have deeper shadows. And that's why we have to shadow the crap out of white. Because white, you can already see some shadow, naturally, like right here, you can kind of see a little bit of shadow. But that's obviously not enough shadow for something that's supposed to be 10 feet tall. If you include the Iron Halo. So we have to make that shadow quite deep. But if you make it just straight black, then it just looks like it's cut. And while that's good in some places, this right here shouldn't be a cut. It should just be a deep shadow. Now that'll dry and it'll actually get laid up a little bit later when I do cleanup. So it's fine. So what we do is that this mix I'm using is a darker gray. While also, because the Lamine Medium is of a nice consistency, it makes it very easy to control when effectively drawing very fine lines. So we put it very deep in the recess, while the previous shade, the Apothecary White, is our light shade that we spread out a little bit so it makes a gradient, without having to do a whole bunch of blending and stuff like you would normally have to. And that's one of the big secrets of my white recipe. It's this 2-step shadow process. Thus, I can get very clean, sharp whites that look as large as they do. It looks natural, so you don't even see the 2 steps. Your mind just sees continuous shadow because you're looking at it from a bit of a distance away. Hopefully. So when I take, say, the Sergeant here, you see the shadow along the edge of his leg? It just looks like an appropriately deep shadow. If you look at it very closely, it's two different colors. It's the deep shade and the light shade. A lot of painting 3D objects is learning light and shadow theory, which can also be called contrast theory, which then starts including colors. And when you're using heavy metal style, at least, but also zenithal highlighting, I think that's one of the most important parts to understand on a theoretical level to allow it to guide your practical. Is, okay, how big is this guy in reality and in, you know, the thing I'm trying to make him look like? Okay, in reality, this guy's, you know, 2.5, 2 3/4 inches tall. In reality, he's 10 feet. These shadows need to be pretty deep. But not black, because black looks like a cut, and we will be, you know, like I said earlier, we'll be doing that, but not everywhere. It's actually mostly just these, I call them trenches. These, like, actual indents in the armor. That will be getting a completely different process soon enough. And those should be black lined. Because that makes sense. That isn't, That isn't just a shadow, that is a cessation of material. Are you also taking notes on this, Fizzle? As you wanted to learn white. This is a lot of it right here. You may also know that I'm not worrying about mistakes too massively much. Because a lot of stuff is still going to be cleaned up in just the process of it. A lot of it's pretty self-cleaning. No, I'm limited on what paints I have right now, but I get what you're saying, and knowing how to mix will make this project easier. Don't have to buy like 30 paints from a project. Right. If you're like, okay, I know I need like a greenish blue. I can take two, and I need a lot of it. Like say you have let's say you have a magic glow that's on a bunch of the same guys, but only in little bits here and there. You can take, let's say Escorpina Green and Crystal Blue here, and both in dropper balls, which makes that easy. Grab an empty dropper ball. This is not empty, but, like this. Pour some in. Mix it up with some medium or some water, whichever. Till it mixes nicely. Try it out. If it matches the color, keep note of the measurements you're using. Is it 1:1? Is it 2:1:1? Or, 2:1, whatever. 3:5. What have you, whatever. And then you have a dropper bottle of it, and then you can just keep revisiting of it. You can get huge. I have them around here somewhere. Huge bags of dropper balls and droppers and caps, like by the 100 off Amazon for like 10, 15 bucks a piece. Very cheap. After the ad ends, I will explain what that purple was for, actually. Alright, I think we're back from the ad. In this case, this purple was used to create a mix for the energy glow on my Relic Sikaran Vander piece. So I knew the purple I wanted, but I didn't have it quite where, you know, I desired just off the paints. So I mixed some stuff up and was actually continuing to slightly adjust the actual mixture as I applied it via airbrush. And thus I was able to get, you know, this where it really does look like it's glowing internally. Or at least that was the hope. So it also, using mixes and dropper balls also allows you to adjust the mix if need be while you're doing it. Is Twitch messing with me again, or am I losing people? That's a cool effect. Thank you, Fizzle. I don't know, I'm saying. Oh, that's good. The main people I am talking to are here. Good. As long as I'm not completely talking to myself. I don't know, it just seemed like we went from like 6 people to 2 in like 10 seconds, and I can never tell if it's Twitch's viewer count being buggy, which it is, incredibly, or if I'm driving people off. Oh yeah, I didn't get around the skull. Okay, another technique I use a lot. You got two objects of vastly different colors right next to each other. I find if you put a very delicate line of shade where they meet, it drastically improves the transition. So it looks like there's a little bit of shadow there. It's especially good if they're of different materials. And while these probably aren't different materials, they are of very different colors. There we go. So now when that dries, it'll look a bit more separated, like it's casting just a very faint shadow on the armor around it. Alright, what's still left here? This needs to be done. I have completely lost track of my normal method of keeping consistent progress as far as what I have and have not painted. So now I'm just wandering around the menu looking for stuff I missed. No, I definitely didn't do up here. While also trying to keep in frame. Quite like this mix. I need to remember this for when I get back to my own stuff. Yeah, it's like a whole hour of copyright-free Viking music. Or they call it Viking music. Don't mind me sounding getting quite focused. Just kind of losing myself in the process here. Alright, is that out? Nope, gotta get around here. That's right, next hobby supply I'm getting is a mixer for my paint so I can save my wrist. Yeah, that's quite fair. I think that's all of this shader. I think we're good to continue. So even though it's still a little like messy right now, and the highlights haven't been applied, he already looks way deeper, way more chunky. We're still not even done with shading. We got one more shading step to go. Clean BZs though, especially easy when all of the times I went over the edge I was painting recess next to are gonna be cleaned up automatically by the highlighting process. Alright, so my next step, I take Black Templar contrast, and I don't do it from the pot anymore. I put some on the wet palette, so it thins out just a little bit for me. Not so thin, like I don't want to add water, I just want the added moisture of the wet palette to thin it down just a little bit. And we're going to use this to blackline all those trenches I mentioned. Which is a lot on this piece, like jeez. I actually don't particularly care for this step, but it's gotta get done. I don't really care for it because while it does a lot to help the piece, it usually does involve multiple passes of cleanup because the highlights often end up running into the trenches and messing them up. So I have to redo them and usually messing up the highlights in the process and redo the highlights until the highlights decided not flow into the trenches. And it's just really annoying. It's just a back and forth, trying to get it just right. Which, like, if it was something as good looking as blending, I wouldn't care as much, because that's just the nature of blending. This is just tedious. Because it could just go in perfectly, but a lot of time I just make stupid mistakes. That and this brush getting more flimsy as it gets older is not helping me out. Doesn't even feel that old, but then again, I'm pretty sure I got these last spring. So, I know my last set lasted way longer than I had any right to. So it probably is coming up time to replace these, which I'm not looking forward to. These brushes are not cheap. They're usually out of stock, meaning I have to wait and watch it, monitor it for when it comes back into stock. Worth it in the end, though. Okay, at least there isn't a trench going like this. Oh, I managed to draw a little bit on the mo. Ah! There are paint mixing bowls you can get in your paints made for it. Yes, there are. That is a way to make shaking more efficient, but I mean, if you want to bypass shaking altogether, I mean, the marbles will probably help too. Or mixing beads, I think is another term for them. Probably help. I just don't know if it's as necessary when you have a proper mixer. Is that actually, you know what? No one's gonna be able to see that, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Yeah, let me go ahead and do the full frontal. And maybe I can even do it in frame. Can you guys believe that? You actually get to see what I'm painting. Almost get to see what I'm painting. The mixers is when it can get a little dodgy to your research and it's don't get one willy-nilly. I mean, probably. I usually take that approach with most things anyway. I've not really heard much about that with mixers, but then again, I don't have a mixer, so I can't really speak on the topic with any great confidence anyway. I'm sure there's no problem with mixing the two. I have completely messed this up, though. This is partially GW's fault because they keep making these specific ones very shallow sometimes for no given reason. Like, why is this side so shallow that I'm basically freehanding the line? At least, I don't know. Like, I'd almost rather be flat and I was expected to freehand a line. That would be easier than having a tiny bit of lip that catches the brush randomly because it's so shallow I can't even necessarily see that's there. Or the brush flies off at the slightest provocation because it's too small to be a proper guide channel. Yeah, like this one isn't even there. Just give me a black line there because I felt like it, I guess. I don't know. And I think I keep going too low. I'll just move it down here. Artistic license is an awesome thing. Well, yeah, it would be, except if it was actually me being creative, except like you expect there to be a line there, so I kind of have to put one. But the line isn't actually there. It's just a lie. What if I wasn't good at painting lines? I don't think I necessarily am. It's not necessarily a really straight line. It's just I know I'm gonna go clean it up, and my OCD's gonna enforce that I make it look like a straight line. That's one of the things with certain commissions, depending on what is expected. Like if you're doing a large commission like this, you'll fall under like two rules. Like it was basically to make them pretty lore accurate, with some wiggle room, which I have taken some artistic license, to be fair. But it's also like, after you do 20 plus of them and they all have the same, you know, back of the leg, then it's kind of hard for one to just suddenly not match all the others. Because we're doing a line, a solid heart pull. That what? Sorry, I've tried rereading that line 3 times. I have no idea what you're saying. Like, also, somebody's just crashing right now, which is not a great sign considering I'm only halfway through what I normally stream. And my goal was to finish this piece today. I thought it wouldn't be a problem, and then Chad in the last stream was so energetic and on top of me. I actually got hardly any painting done. A hard pull is where you start with the brush and pull it toward you, aka hard pull. Ah! So that's one thing I usually never really pick up very well with any skills that I actually, I actually go out of my way to learn very well is terminology. It's just, it falls under me being bad at names. Like, if you met me in real life, like we met at a party, for example, within the same conversation, I might ask you for your name 3 times. But I'll tell you that straight up front, like, oh yeah, my name is X, what's yours? Okay, awesome. I'm probably gonna ask you for your name several more times before this conversation's done. I give people names by how I feel. Okay. All right. So what's my name then? What name do I look like? Also, what's my next paint? Ah, yes. My next paint is Corax White, and this horrific goo is gonna be our highlight. We get along real well, Eric. Eric. For some reason, even me just reading it, like, immediately put a Eric kind of spin on it. Eric, huh? Do I even know an Eric right now? I don't think I even know an Eric. I feel like I used to know an Eric. Yeah. Gotta spin this around. Let's use the Norse term for Eric. You did? I mean, I saw that there was a K, but I mean, I'm kind of just used to those being interchangeable, to be honest. What does that mean in the Norse? That you are right, that is where most of my blood is. Saxon, specifically. Ah, yes, I also need some of my secret weapon, airbrush flow improver. This is a type of, it's not really a medium so much as a chemical you usually use for airbrushing. What's generally used for is a lubricant for the needle. However, if you use it as a thinner for paint, what it does is that it will thins the paint and removes surface tension from the paint. Oh, what's up, Anne-Marie? Welcome to the stream. Yes, you are free to lurk. Go right ahead. Thank you, thank you. So what that means is you can get it quite liquid, but no surface tension, so it won't grab onto other surfaces without your permission, if you will. It will go exactly where you tell it to go. Notice it means one, alone, or unique. Well, you know what? That's actually very apt, as I am always the outlier. I am always the one with the differing opinion, even if I'm not trying to be. I've had people straight out call me out for being a contrarian. And I'm like, I'm not a contrarian. I guess I just think differently than you. The loner, not by choice. Au contraire. Yeah. Well, contrarian just goes after the opinions that are opposing the general consensus. I'm just usually opposing the general consensus because my logic just points me in that direction. Not all the time, but enough of the time that people want to call me out on it, thinking that's the crux of it. I'm like, no, I can give you my reasoning for everything. So you know what? I will take Eric in the Norse as a name. I accept that. It is appropriate for my disposition. When the crowd is going one way and you stop and ask yourself, what the hell are they doing? Continuing your way, they think you're nuts. Oh yes. That's how it's been basically my entire life. I think a big part of it is that I'm actually, honestly, if you can even believe it, open to new information. You can change my opinion. You just have to provide a stronger logical argument and or evidence than I already have. And most people can't do that. Not that they don't try, but... Now I'm trying to think of how spicy do I want to make this conversation. I can make it pretty spicy. I love reasoning and looking at newer, better things. Even as an older adult, learning never stops. And I know absolutely nothing, therefore I'm fine. Yeah, there you go. I see it as my world model, if you will, my universal model, is not like it doesn't have a foundation. It's a gray goo. And that goo is ever absorbing and shifting and realigning as new information comes to light. And every bit of new information is put up against all previous information. Vigorously, relentlessly, even aggressively, before it is assimilated. And a lot of it is often assimilated as working theory. Where it's like, I'm just going to continue forward as if this were true because it's the best I've got, even if I have my doubts. But there's no other more reasonable available theory for that particular topic. Aliens is a good example of that one. Working theory is there are definitely aliens because mathematically speaking, that it just makes sense to me. Based on everything I know about the universe and astronomy and chemistry and mathematics, oh yeah, are definitely aliens. That's something ready and waiting to be proven false. However, proving the non-existence of a thing is a lot harder than proving the existence of a thing. So, it's kind of a working theory because of that bias. But our reality and presence is another thing, and mathematically we're not alone in the universe. We're not alone, just not in our universe, but elsewhere. No, in our universe, in our own galaxy even. I mean, even in our own sector of the galaxy, mathematically there should be other life, maybe not sentient or technologically advanced, but there should be something out there. We just still haven't found it. Our universe, mathematically, best we can figure, is infinite. It doesn't stop. We're not sure why, but we have several things that we have actively observed to tell us that the universe just keeps going and it's just more stuff. And the stuff we can already see is so absolutely gargantuan in scale that even relatively close to us, there should be at least some kind of life. Minimum one sentient species that is technologically advanced per galaxy would be more than reasonable. Also, I don't know why I'm using my backup water. I still have water, I think. Yep, I still have water in my normal mug. This mug, by the way, warning, this is a coffee mug, not a brush rinse cup, is one of my own. This is my own merch. You can get this at Command Merch, or basically tabletop.com/shop. And add in string theory multiple dimensions. Yeah, exactly. So there should be tons of aliens out there. Now, it could be that they're just not wanting to make contact because we haven't figured out some of our more prevalent issues. That's the thing. I think it's more likely that we are in a... How do I explain this? We are under a protectorate that the common people are not aware of. And this is my reason for that. Take the Old Testament, where the Yiddish word for angels literally means messengers from the sky. Replace every instance of divine, angel, God, other gods, all of it. Replace all that with alien factions playing out a proxy war very similar to what we did in the Cold War, and suddenly the Old Testament makes perfect sense as a literal translation of events after the Garden of Eden was concluded. Star people. Right. Yeah. Look at Yahweh and Baal and Ra. I mean, Stargate is not far off, I think. The show. Details, obviously, like, just, okay, yeah, whatever. But the concept of Ra, or the Egyptian gods being just aliens enslaving people, yeah, makes total sense. You know why that makes total sense? Because we did it. If we did it, why wouldn't other factions do that? They want to keep the moral high ground of not just marching troops into the planets. They instead use agents, prophets, and kings, etc., to do their work for them and control that way through, for whatever resources they were after, which there's a number of things, and they weren't raw resources like stone or water or whatever. Man, Battle LA was really dumb in that regard. Water's everywhere. Water is real easy to get your hands on in the universe. It's just frozen on rocks, just everywhere. Nah, biosphere. That's valuable, because apparently that's kind of rare. The Hopi Indians called the messengers that warned them of the Great Flood Star People, and is India or Pakistan when they have tails grabbed out of the sky. India. One of their great Indian poems just basically sounds like something ripped out of the Star Wars manuscript. Also, in the Old Testament, you have reference, and there's other manuscripts found about it, where the great prophets and kings of the Middle Eastern area, so Moses, Aaron, Ramses II, the king of the Hittites and the Assyrians and the Chaldeans, I believe, or maybe it was the original Babylonians, they all had these, they were all given these staffs, or at least they all had these staffs, and they were identical staffs, and they had very specific measurements, a very specific wood, wound with specific metals, topped with specific gems, in a specific arrangement. It was very, very mathematically precise, down to the hundredth of an inch. That's because the working theory is those were communication devices. They were straight up radio antenna. Because the metals were copper. It was copper wire, basically, wound around the top of it, around specific semi-precious gemstones. And all the most influential people of the time had one. Well, that's not suspicious. Also, for something like a species that can travel to stars, a pillar of fire or a pillar of smoke and dividing the Red Sea is not that hard to pull off, really. I mean, even slowing down the Earth's rotation for when Joshua told the sun to stand still, that's doable. The hard part is undoing all of the catastrophic environmental damage, that would follow. Now there would be cloning. No, we can clone animals now. We have cloned sheep and cows, last I knew. Very reasonable. Because here's the thing. We've been for a while, yeah. So, here's my thinking. And, it all comes down to energy. You can rewrite the universe on a fundamental level with enough energy used. Even very simply, you know, you have like the replicators, I think they're called, from, or not replicators, like fabricators or something like that from Star Trek. It's atomic 3D printers, effectively. We have 3D printers right now. You make 3D printers that can adjust things by the atom, which we could theoretically do right now. It just takes massive amounts of energy. Once you have that, then you can do most anything you want. It's just a matter of being able to produce enough energy to pull it off. That amount of energy would then... Well, no, you would still need larger amounts of energy still, in theory, to get to other stars. So if they can get to other stars, they can write reality on an atomic level. So, all the stuff that we hear about in the Bible, easy peasy. Replicator is correct, which was used from the ship's waste. Right, because you could take whatever, food scraps. You could take food scraps, break them down to... If you broke them down to subatomic pieces, you could rebuild them as even fundamentally different forms of matter, because you just rearrange them into new molecules. You could even theoretically with these create exotic particles, thus giving you access to potentially new forms of energy. And what's crazy is we're not that far from that now. It's currently estimated, but we're between 7 and 10 years from cold fusion. Some people say as much as 25. I think we'd get a lot faster if we would stop focusing on this green energy crap with like wind turbines, which most engineers say are garbage. Solar panels, which are, I mean, yeah, if the sun's shining, great. Live in New England for a little while. And focus on nuclear reactors. Our current nuclear tech is very safe and could be made a lot safer and a lot more efficient by switching to thorium. Yeah, still got a couple kinks to work out, but I mean the actual energy the energy efficiency difference isn't massive, and thorium's way more prominent. It's so prevalent that rare earth mines actually have a thing called the thorium problem because there's so much of it, they can't figure out how to get more of it out of their filters to get to the stuff that they do want. Once that happens, no more nuclear waste. Finland's working on that right now. Right. Yeah, and we can already very easily deal with nuclear waste. We have methods of getting rid of it that are very effective. And the new models of nuclear reactors can't not break down, but like they can't over nah, what's the word? Meltdown. They can't have a meltdown. They physically cannot melt down. The new the way they're designed now actually makes it like the new safety features make it physically impossible because the stuff is divided, is no longer fissible once it hits a certain temperature. To be honest, we easily be there right now had the politicians in the news of Hollywood did not do the Bogus Film crime. Exactly. Yep. Glowing green goo in comic books and TMNT is the reason we're not in a much more enlightened age in that regard. Which is why it's actually one of my big life goals to kind of reverse that, and I'd have to give some context as what I mean by that. So, my long-term goal in my life is to become something of a large-scale investor in nuclear technology development and nuclear technology research. By doing that, I do have to get rich, and I do have a plan to get there. It just takes a lot of time, seeing that I just thought of it. I just came to this conclusion this year. It's the most I could possibly do for humanity and to help people. Helping people individually is kind of a waste of time. Most people don't want to be helped, so I'm not going to try to save individuals. That's dumb. When I can pull up the entire species at once, because I'm fully aware that nuclear technology is the biggest thing between us and true space age. And post scarcity. So really, I just need to hit the point where I have enough resources, or I get lucky and find someone willing to sponsor me, to get into the real estate market and start building up a investment real estate empire through long-term multifamily rentals, which are very, once you understand, and I've spent most of this year studying this, once you actually get going, it's if you're aggressive with it, you can easily within a decade build up a massive amount of wealth generation through that. Because every time you get a new asset, it just adds to your bottom line of monthly passive income. Then I go from there and start becoming an investor in the nuclear tech, as well as some other techs. There's some other techs that I have some passion for. Urban agriculture, sea cleanup are a few examples. I'd be trying to get to real estate right now because I do know how to theoretically acquire real estate with no money put down. The problem is finding someone that likes that deal, and you could if you had the experience to back it up. Doesn't matter how good my math is, people don't want to sell to something that they don't feel safe in, even if the math works out perfectly in their favor, massively more so than if someone just bought it outright. Business is done based on emotions, unfortunately, so you either need the money or the experience. I have neither. My current hope is I've been working on, with my dad's help, because he's been studying this for a while, Forex, the trade of currencies against each other. We've been working on finding and tinkering with Forex trader bots, and I think I have found one that will work. I've never lost money on it. after several weeks of testing, and I've now started putting live money behind it. And it's already started making a little bit, and it's mostly just surviving long enough in the meantime while it starts building up an account large enough to first cover my monthly expenses, and just keep growing from there until I have enough to get property. This right here, the streaming and the commissions, is basically just to keep me fed long enough for that to come about, or any of my other schemes, of which I am always thinking of new ones or getting involved in new stuff. And this is Economy 101 stuff too, but somehow for most it's like magic. Yeah, no, it is. It's just numbers. It's just numbers. Once you learn how assets and liabilities actually work and how money flow and all that, it's quite simple. Early this year, I started reading a lot of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. What was the other book? I read like a half dozen of his books, actually. Well, listened to them, audible, while I was painting, actually. Yeah, it's not that complicated. Teaching my oldest on assets. He's an incredible gentleman. Nice. Yeah. That's kind of why I'm doing this instead of like a normal job. I mean, one, it'll suck the soul right out of my body. I can't stand having a normal employment. I'm too much of an artist. Between this and my other business, which is web dev, specializing in small businesses. If anyone needs a small website or an e-commerce shop on the cheap, Lee Robert. If you get paid, that's a normal job. Well, I mean, like, being an employee. I'm currently self-employed, trying to move into investor. There's a difference between all this. No, stop that. No, stop what? Self-employment? No, I know it's not as good as investor. You need to get to investor. You want to remain being self-made. Not really, actually. You're working incredible hours, getting taxed more than anyone else, and it's very hard to scale up. Because, like, I have people all the time that, like, in, like, IRL, that are like, I wish I had some way of helping you, because you never stop working. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, the reason I have this work to begin with is because I'm the only one that can do it. So, like, I don't even know how you would help me. If I stop working, I stop making money. Investing, on the other hand, doing that right, and that doesn't mean necessarily investing in other people. It could be investing in, say, real estate, for example, where I own the property, or, you know, technically a an S corp of my making owns a bunch of real estate. Then I'm still making the money, but I'm making money even when I'm not working. Until I get to the point where I don't have to work, necessarily. I could stop doing this if I didn't want to do it anymore, for example. And investors can pay nothing in taxes. You know how much I pay in taxes if I did not go through a bunch of loops? A bunch of accounting rigmarole every year? 60% of my income is how much in taxes I would pay being self-employed. Instead, I barely get over breaking even. That said, you'll be able to step out of the self-employed to receiving income. Right, exactly. That's why I said trying to switch into being an investor. And stay away from being an employee as much as I can. I paid 37% self-employed. Last year I paid 0. I put so much money into, like, reinvesting into stuff, and a lot of other things. Things I could reasonably account for. I also had a number of failed projects that I put a lot of money into that were in theory going to turn back around into business improvements, but didn't do anything, so that gave me quite a bit more money that I could say that I spent back on my business. It was something like I made, what was it, something like 15 grand last year. It wasn't a great year. We're coming out of COVID. I was still getting COVID checks. Something like 15 grand, and I spent like 8 grand of it, or I spent 8 grand period back on my business or something like that. So I ended up getting like $100 as a refund. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull that off again this year. I've made a decent bit more money, but I've not really been able to spend much of it on the business, so I've just been spending on surviving. Keep hammering at something to stick. I would hope so, seeing that I'm on, like, business, brand, or other monetized project number 11 right now, and I can't even talk about the 11th, technically speaking. Well, a little bit. Not in any great detail. Basically, I recently got asked to be the lead writer on a sci-fi show. Very small production, indie, basically. Just something to do in my off time, I guess. That theoretically could be a bunch of money if I do a good job on it. Most of its success is riding on me, so just have fun with that, I guess. That's about all I can say on it. I am doing a thing. I think the most reliable thing right now, ironically, is the Forex bot. Like, I could not believe the reliability I had on that. It's very small profit, very small returns, but it's 100% accurate thus far. Took Todd McFarlane 763 times again to marvel. Imagine they gave up. Did it really take him 763 like applications or times to get into Marvel? What was he doing to get into Marvel? Resume and art. Oh, okay. So, to be fair, that might not have been someone assessing him 763 times. He just made 763 things, and at that point is when Marvel took him in. I mean, that's a little different. Because he was probably making the art already anyway. He just really wanted to work at Marvel, so he kept throwing more stuff at him. That's basically what I do when I post new stuff on my Instagram, hoping that someone wants to pay me more money for some of their own. No, he's denied that many times you can pull up his interviews. 763, so... I mean, like, for reference of scale, he could have had an interview every day for over 2 years. Jeez. Sylvester was on a different level. Trying to break into the industry and never gave up. Yeah. Oh yeah, I never explained why I'm doing this specific highlight, even though I'm already almost done. This being white, no, this is Corax White, right, which is an off-white. It's actually slightly darker than the matte white that's the base coat. Reason for that is that the matte white is about as bright as the edge highlight color White Scar, but we need it to look sharper on the edges. So we do a bit of an illusion, a bit of a hat trick. We make the white close to the edge slightly darker, so the contrast actually pulls up the White Scar. And this is an example of the highlight going into the trench, and I have to fix it. It usually happens on these because the line is not very well defined. My son got hit hard after uni with COVID. Shutdowns, applied loads, and finally landed a awesome job. He was getting got hit hard after uni with COVID shutdowns, applied loads, and finally landed. He was getting really frustrated. Okay, so he's getting really frustrated because of COVID shutdowns, and then he got the job he wanted. Awesome. That's good. I'm glad. I actually had something of a similar story. I was working, I worked for over a year as the lead designer on this big website as a service thing that had the potential of becoming extremely big. Like, in theory, I might be a millionaire right now if it had gone forward, and COVID happened and killed it. Over a year of working without pay because I was gonna get a it was for a percentage of all profit that I made, so it was scaling. It was a scaling income stream because I was the second highest guy in the thing. I was the first guy brought on after the initial guy got the idea and started to put money into it, and I did most of the work. Yeah, COVID happened. We lost all our programmers, and he didn't want to keep putting money into it to start back over, basically. So we were almost done too. We were at like at least 80% done with that. That sucked. That's a scary thing working by scale, but like you said, the magic word if. Yeah. Nah, because here's the thing. If it had pulled off, and yeah, a percentage of all its income, it had a lot of means of monetization and a lot of potential on that. It was all profit, by the way. It wasn't like an earmarked amount of profit. It was 100% of the profit. I just got a cut of it, just straight out of the gate, from the top. So, I mean, you know, now I hope companies and people will not allow this to ever happen again. Oh, well, COVID definitely taught everyone how to work from home and not get, yeah, how to work from home. Which is weird. Most of our work was local. It's because a lot of the people, I guess, a lot of programmers were in, I guess, in South Africa, and for some reason they turned their internet off as part of at one point in the lockdowns. I don't know why, but just most of our programmers went dark one day and stayed dark. So yeah, it was pretty rough. The flow improver slid into the paint right when I was almost done. That's annoying. That means I have to get more. What's going on over here? Don't mind me. Oh man, I really wanted to get this piece done, but I'm getting pretty damn tired. Even if Even if normally I'd be streaming for another hour. Wow. Just pretty exhausted. Gonna take a break and need to push. Oh, I don't think you understand the psychological aspect. This commission's been going on for nearly 2 years. Because it's actually huge. This level of detail, 18 assault intercessors, 6 outriders, 3 of which are done. Primaris Apothecary, that one's done. The 18 intercessors are done. 3 Blade Guard vets, this is the last one. Blade Guard Ancient, Chaplain on bike, Karsara Khan. Yeah, to give you some perspective. Yep, I first signed on to this contract in April. It was either late March or early April 2021. It was for a decent bit of money, but neither of us had any idea it would be of this scale, take this much time. Definitely not me, because I'm the one that quoted it. I can't actually say, oh hey, I need to like quintuple the amount I quoted you, especially when he paid a lot of it up front and then a lot more of it as an advance instead of at the end of the contract like it normally would, because he wanted to help me buy a truck, because it's someone I know in person. We go to the same game stores. He wanted to help me out, and he wanted to cool White Scar's army, so he found this paint scheme and thought it'd be cool. And then I learned that having a set paint scheme can really drag out a job, especially when it's in white. But contract is a contract. It needs to be finished. Money's all long gone by now, of course. And I am just left learning a very, very well dug in now business lesson. Actually, several. This one commission has changed my payment policies like 4 times now, as I learned the various lessons to be had here. On the plus side, it has made a bit of a name for me. As you yourself proved as you came into the chat earlier. On the downside, I think it's having a big impact on not being able to get more commissions. This guy has infinite patience on this job. It looks so good, and he doesn't get to play very often, and he has other armies, so he's in no rush to get this order. I would love to get other commissions because money. However, it's a lot harder to advertise, hey, come get a commission. I would love a commission. Yes, I am still working on another commission. Like, it's just... Yeah, and the moniker of the god of white paint. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have a very strong feeling that as soon as this is done, that, if you will, it'll be a spiritual opening of the gates, as now the universe's wages have been paid and the contract's complete correctly, and then business will pick up again a lot more. And if that is the case, then this needs to be done right quick. And I thought it'd be Christmas, but these Blade Guard are taking longer than I expected. Mostly their shields. First shield took me 10 hours. Second shield took me about 6. I'd like to get this one down to... People see the army all finished. Yeah, you'll be one happy man. Oh, yeah. I mean, people will be happy to see it and be interested in talking about commission, and very frustrated when they say that to do this exact commission again is like 20 grand. It's actually now part of my payment policy. If you come into it with someone else's full recipe that you want to adhere to for a primary color of the commission, then I'm quadrupling my rate just flat off the top. I might increase it more depending on what it is, because that was the big thing that screwed this thing up. I was paid several grand. I want to specify exactly how many grand, but really this should be between 15 and 20 grand. Easy. Thousands of hours have been put into this thing. It's slave labor at this point, but it's my own fault. The client had no idea. I had no idea. But I wrote up the contract. It's also why I insist on contracts for commissions. Like, this is how we ensure that no matter what, we stay friends at the end of this. We all learned from our first big deals, yeah. Yep. We learned scope. I'm probably just gonna finish the highlighting. I'm not gonna do the edge highlighting today. That'll be Wednesday. Wednesday, because tomorrow's Digital Art Tuesday. Although I am wondering if maybe I shouldn't make it mini painting for a little while, just because I feel like I need to make more progress on this. Good or bad suture, yeah. I suppose I could up my speed a bit by making Tuesdays mini painting for a couple weeks. Also, now that I'm not juggling as many other contracts, because I've had a couple other large contracts in my other business wrap up recently, I could probably start streaming Thursdays as well and stream all weekdays. It's a lot easier now that I'm working with a, when I say my schedule is like 2 to 5 Eastern, for example, now what I'm using is more of a flex schedule, because trying to adhere to exact timestamps was actually like killing my motivation and tiring me out for different reasons. This has already been working way better, where it's like, yeah, the most consistent hours I'll be online are between 2 and 5. What exactly that means, I mean, and in this case 8 to 11 would be the current section we're in. I could probably do that Thursdays as well now. I only have like one big thing I need to bang out, and that's actually technically a personal favor to my sister. She's opening her own first business in February and wants me to draw her logo for her. Which I've already started on, it's just, been pretty tired. And digital art is new to me. So it's not like something I can actually do that well tired. Alright, how's this looking? Camera usually gives me a pretty good look. Did I get it all? Kinda looks like I did. Good. Actually starting to get a headache. Like, in all honesty. Oh yeah, no, that's what I've been doing. That's what I do in my commissions. Yeah, no, that part it's not a organizational problem. It's just the actual skills for the design itself. She knows that I'm the best one she knows at art in general, so you know. Yeah. No, I've been keeping her updated. I live with her, so it's not that hard. Alright. Ugh. Alright. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. And I'll see how I feel in the morning about doing just more mini painting for a few Tuesdays, maybe Thursdays as well. I might also, what I might do is when I have just a bunch of white armor to do, like I did this last week, I did the backpack on the last guy off cam, because it's not that interesting really. I could do the more boring parts off cam, like the white armor and stuff, and just do the interesting bits on cam. That would get me moving faster. More prevalent in the Outriders. It's just a whole lot of white. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for chatting. You've been great. Welcome to this basic table. And I hope to see some of your miniature renaissance in the Discord. Did that link work, by the way? Are you in here? I mean, I suppose I could check myself. Yeah, there you are. Enjoy picking your brain. Yes, you will, and yes, I am. Awesome. Well, yes, hope to see you soon. I will be streaming something tomorrow, and I will be streaming miniature painting Wednesday and miniature painting Friday. And there might be some gaming streams in there, or probably more mini painting. Just, like... yeah. Alright. Catch you later. Have a good one. Where's my button? There it is.